Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. Today I'm on my Honda CB400 Super 4, and I'm going to the market. We are still in the lockdown in Melbourne, but the travel radius has been increased from 5k to 10 kilometers. So now I can go to market to get some fresh seafood. And on the way, I'll just try my best to review the 400 CB400 Super 4. I've just started the bike, so I'm not going to rev it too much. I'm going to take it easy for the first couple of kilometers. So the CB400 Super 4, mine is a 2012 model, which had the fuel injection and ABS as well. It is a kind of iconic bike that has a lot of fans and followers, and Honda is still making this bike brand new. They have been doing so since the early 90s, so I think it's in its 5th generation already, I think. Mine is considered the 4th generation, just the Hyper VTEC Revel model. First thing first, let's start from what you can see right in front of you, the dash. It's a very simple dash. It's kind of a retro style bike now. The CB series, there are many CB series models in Honda's lineup. They can all trace back to that CB750 in the late 60s or early 70s. Which means the bike has a what you call a standard motorcycle style, or the naked style as well, because it has no fairings, everything is exposed. Because it uses a double cradle or double loop steel tube chassis, which is a very old school, old style chassis. And also the engine is an inline 4-cylinder, 399cc, that's why I think it's called 400. But the reason people like this bike is because Honda put a VTEC system on it. It's different from what Honda use on their cars. On their cars, like especially those Type R models, or a few other sports cars, Yeah, let's go back to the engine. So yeah, the VTEC system on this bike is different from the ones from Honda's cars. So on the Honda's cars, the VTEC system actually use a different cam profile to push the valves to open larger or higher to allow more air to go in. On the bike, it actually opens a second set of valves. So below the 6,000 and a half rev RPM, the engine is running on 2 valves per cylinder, 1 in, 1 out. Above that, it opens a second set of valves, so the engine switched to 4 valves per cylinder, 2 in, 2 out. To help the engine breathe better, to draw in more air at the higher revs. And that's where this bike or this engine makes most of its power. It's close to that 10,000 RPM region. That's a 13,000 RPM red line. So around that 10,000 RPM region, the engine develops about 53 horsepower and just under 40 newton of torque. The gearbox is a 6-speed. The ratios are quite close and short because of that high revving engine. So Honda is able to put some short ratios on there, just to take advantage of the high spinning engine to go up in speed, and also that also helps in the lower rev range. That means the ratio can be quite big because it doesn't develop a lot of power and torque in the lower range. So having a slightly larger ratio will help the engine to tick over and put this thing along. In fact, there is no problem to there's no problem for the bike to move off at idle speed in first gear. There's no need to open the throttle. If you release the clutch slowly, the bike will creep forward nicely. You can even get up to riding speed. Being an old school naked bike, the seating position is very low. It's only about 755, 760 millimeter high. The seat is quite wide, so you tend to split your legs a bit more. So for a short guy like me, I can put both my legs flat on the floor, on the ground, but just barely on some slightly uneven surface. I will have to tiptoe a little bit. I'm only 5'6", 5'7". But it's still quite easily approachable. Being a Japanese bike, obviously it is very well made. All the controls are light and easy to use. It's very easy to ride. I'm pretty agile, but it's not the most agile because that's a double cradle chassis and a 4-cylinder inline engine with just 400 cc's. That's a lot of weight. So the bike weighs in close to 200 kilos dry. So that makes it, I think that effect is handling a bit. A lot of the newer bike these days in this category, the 400, 500 category, yeah, a lot of the bikes weighs in at about 150 to 170 kilos, and they have a similar power output. But because of yeah, on the overrun, it has that typical 4-cylinder rumble. It's like a and you accelerate hard and get into that VTEC range, the thing just screams. It's not the fastest thing, but fast enough, especially for a beginner rider like me. The gearbox is easy to use. Gear change is very light and accurate. There's a nice click through every gear, so you don't have to wonder about whether you are in gear or not. Neutral is easy to find. Doesn't matter you drop it down from second or pick it up from first. Yeah, you just slide into it nicely. You'll find it pretty much every time. Not like the neutral gear on my Monster 600, which is hopeless to use, to find. That makes the bike yeah, very easy to ride even at low speed in city traffic. Okay, now I've got my seafood and on my way back. So, where were we? Yeah, well, let's talk about the suspension. It's quite basic. It's only telescopic fork in the front and a double shock set up at the back. Nothing fancy about it. They are both preload adjustable, but that's about it. They're pretty supple. The ride quality is pretty good. I guess because the bike weighs a bit, so that tend to stabilize the suspension a lot. So it doesn't bounce up and down or skip around a lot. In city riding or urban riding, it's pretty relaxed. easy to place the bike. The steering is quite light, and the steering angle is quite wide. So even at low speed, the bike is quite easy to move around. One thing I don't quite like, I shouldn't say I don't like it, it's just this type of bike, it's pretty much all like that. Is the fuel tank is that flat streamlined design. It's not like my Monster 600, which is quite tall and narrow, which is easier for me to my god. The way people drive these days are just nuts. Yeah, that I do prefer the tank on the Monster, because it's tall, it's narrow, it's easy to hug around it. Give me something to grab onto. Okay, just collect my stationaries, so I should get going, but you have a look at the bike. There she is. Nice. I like the color. It's the red and white with golden wheels. Yeah, the front brake are twin discs, which is quite rare for a 400cc bike. These days they don't even put twin discs on something like 600 sometimes. Yeah, I'll put into a second gear. See, I'm doing 10k. I'm barely rolling the throttle. The bike is tipping at 2000 RPM, and it goes by itself. And now stopped. Yeah, I'm in first gear. I'm not rolling the throttle. I just let the clutch out. See, the bike will just move forward by itself. The idle's at about 1,500. So that makes it quite easy to ride, even in low speed. The handling is, yeah, it's okay. It's not the most agile bike. Having a double cradle chassis doesn't help in the corners either, because yeah, it's quite wide, and the seat is low, the foot packs are low. So you can't really lean the bike very much, or at least yeah, you will be constantly wondering when I'm going to bottom out. But this thing is very versatile. So you can ride it in a relaxed way, cruise along, just look around, have that wind in your face and body experience, chill out. Or you can give a bit of a gas and be a little bit naughty. Have a bit of fun, as long as they don't break the traffic law. Revving the engine out is always very exciting on this type of bike. Because Honda has been producing this bike for decades, so the formula has been refined over those decades. So yeah, really, it's just a nice bike. Everything is nice. The controls are light and easy to use. At normal traffic speeds, it pulls along nicely. There's enough power and torque just to keep up with traffic. But if you want to give it some go, just drop a gear or two, let the engine start revving into that VTAC region, and it screams, it goes hard. Sure, it's not as fast as those elite superbikes, but you don't need a superbike in a city, or in most of the riding conditions. You can go over 100k in the first gear on the liter bike, and that's over the speed limit, and you're not even finished first gear. Riding the bike, yeah, speed fast is part of the fun, but to me, rolling your gears and controlling the bike, especially in the corners, your balance between brakes, throttle, clutch, that's the fun. And also you can see everything around you. There's nothing to block you. Yeah, there's some guy that's in a Porsche Cayenne next to me, thinking he's having a bit of a fun, but I bet he's jealous that I'm on this thing.